I mean, should I put a shirt on? I feel like I should put a shirt on.
Oh, you look
I mean,
fantastic.
All right, let's roll.
we should go shirts and no shirts for this episode.
Oh,
Really,
okay. All right. Get real weird with it.
like basketball, like street rules.
Right,
you know?
right. Shirts and skins.
Shirts and skins. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Leo.
And we have the lovely Matt Finneman filling in for Justin on extremely late notice. I told him about 5 minutes ago, hey, can you jump on this podcast real quick?
Hey.
That's true. Clearly, I'm a man with a lot of important stuff going on.
Well, Matt always says like, "Hey, you know, be sure to invite me for like such and such episodes." So I feel like we're holding him to it.
Well, I felt bad because I know Matt's a big Bravely Default guy, and we left him out of the Bravely Default episode. So I was like, you know what? I know he's a Mass Effect fan, so we can't leave him out again.
I will make James take full responsibility for that, Matt.
No, it's all good. You guys keep talking. I'll be right back. I have a crying baby.
Oh, that definitely takes priority. Go deal with the baby. So yeah, Matt will be right back. And
is he going to be able to join?
Yeah, I think he just paused it.
Okay.
So yeah, if you haven't noticed, things may look and sound a little bit different. That's because Justin's not here, and Justin usually handles the technical end of streaming and setting things up. So we're just kind of scrambling to put together a production here. So it might be this episode might be a little rough around the edges.
It's intimate night, you know. It's the electric instruments are gone. We bring out the acoustic set.
Right.
Play a little jazz.
Ooh. Ooh. You know what? I was this happened. The stars align every once in a while, where the subscription service for XM satellite radio is free. You get like these free trials every once in a while, and also the seasonal XM channel Yacht Rock is in season. And when those two things align, like they are right now, I've been listening to a lot of smooth yacht rock.
Can you define yacht rock?
Yes. It is. Yeah. It's well. First of all, it's anything you would take your yacht out and on a party time. You got a nice boat drink in your hand and you put on some music. You'd put on some yacht rock. It's like easy listening jazz.
Okay.
Anything with lead Doobie Brothers single Michael McDonald. Yeah, he's. I was defining. We got off on a tangent. I defined yacht rock to Leo.
Okay.
It's my.
That sounds like quite the tangent.
Yeah, we went off the rails a little bit.
So Mass Effect.
Yeah, so yacht rock, coincidentally, Commander Shepard's favorite musical genre.
Is that true?
Absolutely, that's totally canon. God bless you. God bless you, sir. Yeah, yacht rock. A couple weeks ago. God bless you again.
Oh my God. Keep it moving.
A couple of weeks ago, EA put out the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, which is a sort of remaster of the first 3 games in the series, because we're all trying to pretend that Mass Effect Andromeda didn't happen. So it's Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 all together in one tight package. Now, I have been mainlining the fucking shit out of this game. I've played through 1 and 2, and I'm about halfway through 3. Have either of you guys touched Mass Effect Legendary?
Yeah.
Yes, I've already 100%ed number 1. Like I started 2 with max everything, and I'm halfway through the loyalty missions of 2 before getting the Reaper IFF and finishing that one up.
Oh wow! So you're going with a slow and steady approach of 100% as you go kind of thing.
I'm getting the platinum on every one. I got the platinum in part 1 because I'm playing on Insanity, so I can get the.
Oh my God! All right,
man, legit.
Now that was a little rough for me going back to 1. I forgot. I mean, Legendary cleans up some of the rough edges of 1, but not all of the rough. I forgot the shooting in 1's a little rough.
Yeah, that's kind of my opinion. I'm about halfway through 1. again. And this is after I just started Mass Effect, if you recall, like late last year. I wanted to replay them again randomly. So I started Mass Effect 1 like non-Legendary Edition just a few months ago. Stopped. Started Legendary Edition now, and about halfway through 1, and it's basically the same. And so, I mean, they've cleaned some things up. They've added some HD, whatever. But that combat is still a little rough.
You know what? I still love it.
Yeah.
Because one's more of an RPG.
It is
the
most
I miss
RPG
the
like
inventory stuff, like being able to upgrade your armors and weapons, because by the end of 1 you feel like a total unstoppable badass.
Powerhouse.
Once you get like the Spectre gear and you're got like level 10 mods on your armors and weapons. Like I really miss that stuff.
But an argument can be made that, like it's almost like what's the point of, being careful about where I'm putting all my skill points and everything if at the end of the game I'm just going to be, a Terminator killer no matter what.
Well, to be fair, only like a small percentage of players 100% everything and unlock all that.
That's true.
But I mean,
that's true.
I'm kind of noticing that, and that's something I didn't really remember, is that 1 is very RPG heavy. 2,
the most RPG-like, I think. Yeah.
2 is kind of a mix. They really improved the shooter mechanics on 2.
100%.
What I didn't remember is that 3 is like really like cover shooter heavy. Like, hey, you want some more cover shoot? Have some more cover shooter sections. Like, yeah, but I want to role play. No. You want to shoot more people in a corridor? Like, I promise I don't. I promise I'm really bored of that.
I feel like Mass Effect has diminishing returns. like the first game, with all of its faults, is just the best story and feeling and lore and atmosphere. Like, it's just fantastic all the way through. 2 is still pretty good, pretty solid. As you start getting to 3 and that which shall not be named, the further in the series, like it just starts, for me personally, just start to feel a lot less like Star Trek-y and awesome and more like, I don't know, Gears of War, sci-fi.
That's another thing I've noticed, is that the tone and theme changes fairly drastically. Because 1 is like this, like, yeah, we're going on a Star Trek adventure. And then 2 is like this weird, like, I don't know. It's kind of somewhere in between 1 and 3 again, where it's like, we're working for the bad guys. So it's, they do a lot of interesting things with you're working for the bad guys, so it opens up a lot of these more morally and ethically questionable decisions that you get to roleplay, and I like that. 3 is like, you're in the military and you're gonna shoot a lot, and that's the story.
3 has... Okay, I'm gonna buck the trend here. 3 is the best of the trilogy.
Okay.
Because, and you can complain all you want about the final 5-minute ending, but literally every moment leading up to that is something that had never been done in games before. The culmination of 3 games worth of choices and actions and everything that led up to that, like the minor choices from 1 and 2 that come into play in 3, and even if the end result is just additional war assets, it still feels like a reward for what you've played over the past decade.
Like everything else we did mattered, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I love 3. And also 2 and 3 have some of the best DLC in video games. Lair of the Shadow Broker in 2, and 3's Leviathan and Citadel DLC are some of the best DLCs in the medium.
Really liked Lair of the Shadow Broker. I just played through the Citadel DLC and I wanted to shoot my brains out. First of all,
are you kidding me?
It's first of all, what's her name? I already forgot. Aria?
I'm quitting. Are you thinking about the Omega DLC?
Yeah, what did I say? Not the Citadel DLC, the Omega DLC. I'm sorry.
Citadel is the fan service, like, we're giving you one last party with all of your teammates, and it's just nothing but references and in-jokes and the best time with your party ever.
Haven't gotten to that. I definitely just heard you say Citadel, and my brain went Omega. No, I just played.
And actually, I like Omega too because
I loved Omega. I loved Omega from the second game. I was like, cool, we get to go back, and then it's just like they just stapled together, copy pasted this one corridor and stapled it together 100 times. And I'm like, please.
It's not about that. It's about the characters.
Please get me out. And that's the other thing. It's like you're with Arya and
Nareen.
Nareen's okay. I cannot stand Arya. Cannot stand
Arya
her.
rocks.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. I'm role playing the kind of like Captain Picard Paragon Shepherd this time.
Ah, what?
Which like
I refuse to play a renegade ship.
My Picard Goody Two Shoes Shepherd has like no thematic reason to team up with Arya. Like, even if you take everything to the limit of like, okay, well, he's got to get as many war assets as he can. He's like, I don't know, like teaming up with Arya just
a stretch.
Seems thematically stretching things pretty far.
Right. Right.
That's the other thing I forgot about 3 is that the opening cutscene is just Earth on fire. And that's like how you're introduced to 3 is like, hey, everything's being destroyed right now. Which really like, it's kind of the Fallout 3 thing where like your son gets kidnapped at the beginning of the game. So any side quest you go off and do, you're doing that instead of like going to go rescue your kidnapped son. Like, oh, I'm gonna play like some cards instead of rescuing my son. So like everything you do in 3 as Shepard is like, oh, I'm doing this right now while people are dying on Earth.
Makes you feel like an asshole. That's a classic RPG thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's just like any video game where it's like, oh, we have to do this, but I have all these side quests. That's just you gotta suspend that disbelief.
I know. That's what I was gonna say. It's a suspense of disbelief.
But sure. That's what works about 1 and 2. In 1, there's not really an immediate threat, really, and then in 2, it's like, hey, we know what we have to do, but we need to like build the team as much as possible before we go do it.
How do you kind of put that into words? Because that's I think that my biggest reason for liking 1 the most and progressively disliking, not disliking. I don't dislike any of the Mass Effects, but like I said, it was like diminishing returns. Like, and I think it's because of that. I don't know if it's really pacing is the right word, but it's like setting. You know, it's like that sort of more chill, nothing pressing sort of Star Trek mission.
The tone, you're right. I really like the tone of 1. Yeah,
that's my favorite for whatever reason. You know? But the games do get better mechanically.
Of literally being the introduction to the world, so it's all new.
And I love all of that.
The races.
All of the world building they do in 1 is like so good.
They do it so well.
Yeah.
Like, most games I don't dig into the lore as much as these games, you know.
I will say one thing that 1 failed at RPG wise is the side quests.
Yes. Oh my god.
Like go to this planet, and then you'll get like a burst of text on the screen, like, you entered something on the screen and this happened. And 2, you get like dialogue, like even minor NPCs you have like full-on conversations with, and the game feels much more immersive in that way, and it's actually much better plot-wise because of that. Side quest-wise, like main storyline, Mass Effect 1, like it had a problem where you would get good plot at the beginning when you would land on a planet, and then when you left the planet at the culmination of whatever boss, but like everything in between was very weak.
Yeah.
And in 2, in 3, they did a really good job of like mixing in plot and dialogue throughout a mission.
Well, the other thing with the 1 side quests is like anytime you go into that one bunker that you find on the, it's the same bunker. They just shuffled the boxes around.
You have the bunker, you have the mines,
you
have the warehouse.
Yep.
Those are the only 3 things you can come across. And also the Thresher mods can suck a dick.
Yes. And if I never have to play the Mass Effect 1 decryption minigame ever again, it'll be too soon. That decryption minigame is cool the first like 5 times you play it, and then the subsequent 300 times is like, kill me.
Yep.
All right, well, so let me ask you this. Like, as someone who's only about halfway through the first game, you know, I'll ask this to guys who have already started multiple of the games. What is the benefit of the legendary edition of this game? Like what?
Okay, I'll let James go first.
Let James go first, and then Matt will come back.
Grab that pacifier. I got you covered.
What does it really add?
Basically, for the legendary, The question is, if I already own all of the original Mass Effect games, is it worth it to rebuy them in the Legendary Collection?
That's a question everybody has.
And the answer is yes, if you care about one or two of the following things. Number one, they've done a lot of visual upgrades. So, like, especially for Mass Effect 1, like, all of the text, most of the textures are like 4K textures. I think they've done some model work and stuff, so the game looks a little better. But it also looks they've changed some of the lighting in the game and some of the camera angles. Anyway, so the game looks like better, but it also looks weird because it's like got the lighting engine of a modern game, but then like the animations of a game from 2004 or 2005. No, I don't know. 2007. 2007. So
aged animations and character
so yeah
models,
so
really.
like your character like looks really nice, and then they start talking, and the like facial animation doesn't match anything, and then you're like, oh god. So that's one. If you care about the graphics, there's been a couple of like quality of life updates, especially for one. They redid the UI a little bit. Anyway, and number two is that has almost every single DLC. I think there's some DLC missing for Mass Effect 2, maybe. But it has, or maybe Mass Effect 1, I don't know. It has almost every DLC from all three games, all packaged into one. So if you don't want to hunt down all the... Because I think there might have been some console-specific RPG, like, this was only for PS3, and this was only for Xbox One. I don't know. It's all in one package. That's the point.
Well, so how does that work? Like, how do you start the DLC? Is it only after you finish the game for like?
So it's all like in-game stuff. So it's like different missions you can like stumble across.
Does it pop up with a certain side quest symbol or something?
So like usually it's like, especially for the first game, it's like, oh, there's like an NPC walking around on the Citadel, or I guess standing in the Citadel in the first game, because they don't usually have walk animations. Yeah, so you talk to them, and then it gives you a little side quest on a planet. You go to the planet, and then it's that same stupid fucking bunker that you've been to a million times. But
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's generally how it works. But then, because in the second and third games, they also had like DLC characters. So I think the second game had Zaid and Takumi. What's her? Takumi? That doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth. Anyway, Zaid and Takumi. Maybe that's not her name. Kasumi. Thank you. And the third game had Javik, which this is the first time.
Javik fucking rocks.
I know. And this is the first. I played the third game.
DLC.
I know! I played the third game at launch without Javik, and then he's like pretty important to the story of 3, and I'm like, how does this make sense without this character?
I never played any of his DLCs, so I don't recognize.
To be fair, he was free DLC if you pre-ordered.
Oh, well, I didn't pre-order like a sucker, so I guess... I didn't even know he existed, though. I guess I wasn't that plugged in back when Mass Effect 3 came out.
What was the question again? What's the benefit of the Legendary Edition?
Yeah, I just said...
I guess.
I summarized it in graphics, quality of life upgrades, and DLC.
Part 1 gets the biggest boost in quality of life and graphics. Like, the lot's been streamlined. The other benefit is all of the DLC is woven in organically into the story. So it's not like you have already beaten the game and then suddenly you're getting these random missions. You know, like you can...
That's exactly what Leo just asked, yeah.
That's what I was... Yeah, because that's what I pictured.
It's really cool. Like, I mean, the only downside is it kind of works against you, too, because there is one DLC in 2 called Arrival that is absolutely it was the last piece of DLC in Mass Effect 2, and they released it just months before Mass Effect 3 for the sole purpose of it is the bridge between 2 and 3, but they give it to you way early in 2, and you can technically do it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I didn't remember doing that either, and I really liked that DLC. That was cool DLC. The one I didn't like so much in 2 was the one with the stupid Firewalker vehicle, and I played that one out of order. I played the one where they introduced the vehicle last, and the one where they already expect you to have the vehicle first. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here?
It happens.
Yeah.
The Firewalker DLC was released with the game. So, or really early, close to launch, and it just kind of doesn't add anything. I think it was literally just them going I know you guys hated the Mako, but look, we made a vehicle that controls well.
Well, Mass Effect is notorious for its shitty vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, all the vehicle sections do suck, but I never had a problem with how unwieldy the Mako was in the first game. The problem was they didn't, like, do anything. Like, you had, like, these huge sprawling planets with nothing. Just nothing in them. It was like, oh, this is boring just driving across these planets.
I don't really understand why. Like, why? Just, just cut all that shit out.
I will say that I really enjoyed in the Legendary Edition that they added a turbo boost to the
yes. Thank God.
Made exploring the boring planets way better.
Yes.
I think they tweaked the feel of it a little bit too, I feel like. But
yeah, that turbo boost button is a godsend, especially when you're trying to climb a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are we talking about best characters?
Do you want to talk about best characters? Because that was going to be our top 5.
The answer is Tali, and anyone that disagrees...
Well, let's get right into it. Let's get right the hell into it after I do our little promotional. And look at this. Whoa, we have like graphics that are coming on the screen now. Look at that, guys. It looks... Yeah. I don't... Probably. Well, you can't see them if you're listening to the audio-only version of this podcast on your favorite podcasting device, but we're also on YouTube, so if you want to see the stupid graphics that are now over the screen, check us out.
Sponsored by?
We're sponsored by our patrons, of which we have 2, maybe 3 now? Something like that?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, baby!
Thank you, patrons.
Yeah, check us out at patreon.com/goodgamescast. Our email address is goodgamescast@gmail.com. And I think on the fancy thing, I forgot what our Twitter is. We have a Twitter. We have a Discord. Check it out.
All the links are in the thing.
They're probably. Just go look for those links. You can find them, probably. All right, our top 5. This is our top 5 Mass Effect squad mates. So I think this needs to be a collaborative. We need to, as a group, decide what the top 5
definitive
squad mates are.
Definitive top 5.
Now I'm springing this on Matt because he didn't know this was coming, but I got my research all done already.
Yeah. Research all you want. It's Tali.
Tali. Okay, why do you like Tali? Pitch me on Tali.
The definitive best romance in the franchise.
Now, what makes her the best romance, though?
Because it's fucking adorable. I dare you to watch the YouTube clip of the entire course of her romance and not just grin. Caitlin, my wife, has never played Mass Effect. She's watching me play these games. And because this time I'm playing a femshep, much to my chagrin, I can't romance Tali. So I was like, okay, we'll just watch it so you can see what we're not going to experience. And she was like, God damn it, can we restart as a male shep? Because I really want that to happen. Tali is the best. She's great in combat. She's great out of combat.
Oh, if you know what I mean.
No, like in the first game, the whole Quarian thing was one of the coolest lore moments.
Yeah,
and just
the Quarian
their
race
relationship with the Geth, and because of that, like she had the best loyalty mission in 2 with the treason trial.
Oh, I love that.
That was one of my favorites. Yeah.
And then her moments in 3 with the Geth versus the Quarians and the what are you going to choose? And then, oh my God, I can save both. Like her arc as a character in each game steals the show each time. And then her AI hacking and energy shield theft and all of her tech skills, like she just is the coolest fucking character. You will not convince me otherwise. Tali's number 1. Just fight for 2 through 4. I'm gonna play the you sprung this on me card. I get bonus points and
okay. It's fair. You pitched a good case for Tali, but what about? Oh, go ahead.
Definitely. I don't. I'm just gonna say I don't disagree that she's deserves being in the top 5 at least. So it doesn't hurt my head.
So who is James about to say?
I was gonna throw out Mordin Solus.
Okay, cool.
He's great.
So you love war criminals. I get it.
I like that. I like that he's, this like genius guy who really struggles with the ethical implications of what he's done, which is basically like prevent this entire race from having children.
Mordin is a great character.
Yeah.
Who just... I'm not saying he shouldn't be top 5. I'm just saying he's not top 1.
All right, so we'll throw out Mordin. Leo, you want to nominate anyone?
One one of the few that I feel very strongly about is Garrus, the OG.
And you know what? Garrus absolutely deserves a spot in the top 5.
I think so.
I will say the reason I don't put him over Tali is because in Mass Effect 1, if you go back and play it, he's actually kind of fucking bland. Until he goes through his time in the Terminus systems and becomes Archangel, all he is a cop mad at red tape. That's all he is.
Which I love.
No, but there's just not much to that compared to how they flesh him out and grow him in 2 and 3. That's why I put Tali over him, because she's consistently great in 1, 2, and 3. And for me, Garrus only is 2 and 3.
Sounds like Garrus is number 2.
I found out, here's a little Mass Effect fun fact. I found out in Mass Effect 1, obviously, Commander Shepard has a Paragon Renegade scale.
Sure. And Garrus does too.
Yeah, well, everyone has a Paragon Renegade scale in Mass Effect 1, but Garrus's is the only one that has story implications. Because if you encourage him towards Paragon in Mass Effect 2, he's Archangel because he went back to join CSEC, but he got fed up with more bureaucracy, so he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go kill criminals. If you encourage him towards the Renegade path, he's like, I tried to join the Spectres, but I flunked out of Spectre school, and then I went to Omega to kill criminals. Anyway, little Mass Effect fun fact for you.
And actually, his conversations in 1, you can steer him towards learning to not be such a kill criminal dick. He's basically like I think the best explanation I ever heard was Mass Effect 1 Garrus is every cop with a Punisher sticker on their car.
I mean, kinda.
I just wish I could gun them all down.
I love it.
If only I could be like Punisher. Okay, so we have Garrus, Mordin, and Tali. I'm gonna throw a curveball out because a lot of people forget about him. Is Rex?
Oh yeah, I like Rex
because he was great in 1,
Rex.
and then he's of all the characters that never comes back. His interactions are consistently great in 2 and 3 as the leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Rex is a fan favorite for a lot of people, so I feel like it was definitely I had to mention him if no one else did. But man, I was always happy to just kill that guy off.
I mean, I don't really particularly want him in the top 5, but I felt like he should get mentioned.
I feel like he does deserve a spot just because of if you're making a definitive companion list, it's on a lot of people's list. I would imagine he's just that character that is purposefully, I don't know, he makes a statement and it's love him or hate him, he's there, he's just fucking there. And
the best character we all know is actually Conrad Werner.
I forgot how funny he is in 2. He's aware that he's an NPC in a video game. He's he's role playing Shepard, and
he's literally cosplaying as Shepard.
I know.
I love it.
I love it. I forgot how funny that was.
One person that I think actually does belong in the top 5, and there's a theme going here where a lot of the Mass Effect 1 characters get this. Liara.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially her turn from 1 to 2.
I was gonna say in every different game, she's a completely different character in every game. She
has some crazy growth. I love it.
In 1, she's this nerdy, bookish scientist, and then in 2, she's actually, I'm a super spy, and I'm I'm an assassin, and I'm being hunted, and you have to help me. And then in 3, she's I don't know, she's closer to what she was in 2, but
she's also, fun fact, the only character you can romance in all 3 games.
Yeah. Now, I am doing romance Liara through all 3 games, like you said. But they just patched it literally at time of recording today. There's a bug in the second game. You don't get the stupid little achievement if you romance Liara in the second game. But they just patched it today, so I didn't get the Paramore achievement.
Does it retroactively give it to you?
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to log in and see. I don't know how the game would... maybe. I don't know. I'll have to see if I get the achievement retrospectively.
That would annoy me to no end.
Yeah. I was looking at the achievements. I was like, why did I not get the Paramore one? What?
So we can all agree that number 1 is actually Ashley Williams, right?
No, That's funny because like when I first played Mass Effect, I remember like, oh, like Ashley was kind of cool, and I romanced Ashley. And then like I'm replaying it now. She's like unequivocally just racist as hell. Like she's definitely
that's her personality is space racist.
She's definitely a space racist. Absolutely. No, I could not have clicked the like rescue Caden button faster in my current playthrough.
Oh man.
Yeah, definitely left her to die. Her and her space racism.
That's sad.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I kind of like the space racist. I just feel like you got to have someone like that for like the realistic effect, you know. Bigotry is real and it's authentic.
What? I need a fostered in my squad.
That is kind of weird though. I noticed because in the second game it's like, oh, you're working for Spectre, this like human first and like Cerberus. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? Thank you. You're working for Cerberus, this like
You're thinking
human
James Bond.
I don't know what I'm thinking. It's too late and my brain is fried. You're working for Cerberus, which is like human first and like kind of anti-alien. But like all of the dossiers that the Elusive Man gives you, it's like, hey, go recruit all these aliens.
Well, to be fair, they explain that away. Like Cerberus is 100% humanity first, but that doesn't mean he won't throw alien bodies at the problem to fix humanity's issue.
True.
Like human lives are at stake. If aliens die to rescue them, he doesn't give a fuck.
That's a good point.
All right,
I will say, sorry, go.
Well, I was going to switch gears to say like one more person that I feel needs to be on the list, but finish your thought first.
Shoot it.
Okay. Miranda Lawson.
Okay.
Is I would think most people would consider her the more like the safer one of the romances, but because she's like not an alien. But there's something about a really complex character with daddy issues that I just love. And also, she's super hot, so she has to be in the top 5.
Don't want to get any of those alien STDs.
No.
Is that why she's the safest? What?
Oh, no, just because she's human.
Okay, right. The alien STDs, right.
Yeah.
All right.
But also, the character is played by Yvonne Strahovski, who's like, from a couple of like random things I've seen online. Chuck, she's been in, had a couple cameos. Yeah, really popular actress and smoking hot, and this character is too. So it's got to be.
Is that really our the criteria?
Hey, we didn't put a criteria.
All right, the last one I want to nominate is Edie, which is definitely just this game's version of Lieutenant Commander Data from Star Trek.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Edie gets bonus points because of her relationship with Joker.
Yeah.
Which Joker is really the best companion. I mean, let's be honest.
I like. Yeah, it's too bad Justin's not here because he's the only one who would know what I'm talking about. But it's the episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, Data's Day, just extended longer and longer for every interaction that Joker and Edie have. Anyway. I don't know. Do we want to try to rank these? I'm gonna give Matt the honor of putting Tali number 1. We did spring this list on him. Who's at number 2? Garrus?
Sounded like Garrus, which he is.
I'll give you Garrus.
He's the boss. I mean, do you have another alternative for number 2, James?
No, I just think 3 should be Liara.
Fair.
I guess that's fair.
4? Any love for Morden?
Probably either Morden or Rex.
I'd be fine with either. Let's give it to Morden because James needs a win.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then number 5, we got Rex, Edie. I don't know.
And
Miranda. We didn't even talk about Thane. I like Thane.
I love Thane. He's gonna be my.
I don't like Thane.
He was gonna be my Mass Effect 2 romance.
Oh, your Fem Chef. That's right. Yeah.
I've never played a femship, so I'm like, yeah. Because if you don't romance Garrus or Tali in Mass Effect 3, they hook up.
Really? I did not know that. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could give it to Thane. I just never really been interested in that character for whatever reason. But...
No, I think we shouldn't give it to Thane. We should give it to either Rex or Miranda.
Well, that's right. We haven't said Rex since we gave number 4 to Morden, so I think Rex has to be in there.
I'd agree.
My only problem with Rex, speaking of Star Trek tie-ins, is if Rex dies in the first game, he's replaced by Michael Dorn, the actor who played Lieutenant Commander Worf on Star Trek: The Next Generation. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if Rex is still around, Worf has a much smaller role in definitely just ripping off Klingons from Star Trek.
Well, I think as popular as Rex is, and I mean, it's like Rex is a character that should die. That's just what it is. He's too good to keep around.
No, he's so good later.
All right, so are we putting Rex in there at number 5?
Can we just say tie between Rex and Miranda Lawson? Come on.
Yeah, why not?
All right, hey, we're breaking all sorts.
It's
We're
Yvonne Strahovski,
pressing the
man.
renegade button and we're breaking the rules.
So Rex wins for being a better character, but Miranda wins because
She's hot.
So hot.
Love it. Love it.
All right, now bonus ranking.
Honorable mention.
No, just bonus ranking. The worst 3.
Ooh.
Oh.
You have to, because every Mass Effect has the one boring, bland ass human character.
Yeah.
Number
Hayden,
I really
Hayden,
don't like James Vega.
Jacob, or James Vega.
I
Who's
don't
the
like
worst?
James. He's very boring.
I'll take all
They're
three
all
of those
very
for the
boring.
worst. Yeah.
They're all, that's like Mass Effect cannot make a compelling human male squad mate to save their life. They are all garbage.
I know. What's up with that?
I forgot that the scene where they introduce James to Shepard, they just like box. They have this weird like
Yeah.
talking about life dialogue while they're boxing. I'm like, what is this?
James is boring. Jacob is so fucking bland. And then you know what? They even continues because in Mass Effect Andromeda, Liam is also the game's most boring character. Like
Just like
they're
human
4
male.
for 4.
The only reason I like Caden is because it's the same voice actor from BioWare's previous RPG, Knights of the Old Republic, who also played a bland, boring human character.
So at least it's like a fourth wall joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess. Yeah, he played Karth from Knights of the Old Republic.
I want little to nothing to do with Caden or Jacob or James.
Like when I was a male ship and in all my previous playthroughs, I always rescued Ashley because even if she's racist, at least she had a personality.
That's what
true.
I'm saying.
That's true.
That's,
you know what? That's
exactly
true.
What I'm saying. Like
But
it's spicy.
I committed myself to doing something new this time. So I'm femship. Instead of a soldier, I'm an infiltrator. Instead of Ashley, I saved Caden. I'm romancing different people. I'm still going full Paragon, but at least I'm making different decisions.
That's cool. I mean, I respect that. But I'm 100% with you. Like in all my runs, I'm just been like, fuck Caden. like
He's so
don't
good.
care about that guy.
Oh my God.
Give me the racist hot chick. Like at least that's something
Give me the
interesting in my
racist
life.
hot chick.
Well, she gets and at least she gets better between 2 and 3. Like
Yeah, they try to
Actually-
give.
Oh, does she have a character arc?
She does.
yeah, she grows. By the time she rejoins you in 3, she's like not a xenophobe anymore.
Right.
Okay.
She grows a bit, right? You know, she starts to open her eyes. You start to understand why she's such a xenophobe. I think. Frank
Yep.
Walker. But
So yeah, that's all I got.
yeah,
Love
I like
it.
our list.
Love it,
Like
love
it.
it, love it. You guys want to endorse some stuff?
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna endorse some stuff. I'm gonna endorse the board game Gloomhaven. This has been the number 1 board
Oh, I
game
played that.
on. Have you? What do you think of Gloomhaven?
That's all right.
Okay, not a glowing endorsement from Leo. This has been the number 1 board game on Board Game Geek for I don't know, forever. The last 3 or 4 years. For me, the hype was real. It's a co-op dungeon crawl campaign with legacy mechanics. And if you're not big into board games, basically legacy mechanics are when you like alter the components of the board game irreversibly. So you're tearing up cards, you're putting stickers on stuff, you're, because the idea is it's a campaign, so, you're upgrading your cards. Some cards you don't need anymore, so you tear them up. It's like, this is a, level 1 sword, not going to use this anymore. You put stickers on the board, you get new locations that you put stickers on. Anyway, that's what legacy mechanics are. The thing that I like the most about it is there's a really good combat mechanic where there's no dice in the game at all. The decisions that you make are these cards, and you always pick 2 decisions, but each card has... you always pick 2 cards, but each card has 2 decisions. And if you pick one, you can't use the other. Anyway, it's this really deep tactical role-playing dungeon crawl. It's very good. Gloomhaven, the board game, is my endorsement.
I think I'll also endorse a board game for this episode.
Yeah.
It is called Zombicide.
Oh, nice.
It also features a campaign, legacy-esque, series of games and sheets that you have to write into, and then they get thrown away, all that kind of thing. And that's actually the first time I played it was a couple weeks ago. It's basically a zombie survival game that takes place over the course of several episodes. And as you fight the zombies, your character levels up and gains different skills, almost like D&D meets zombies meets Mansions of Madness.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's like tiles, they're set down to represent a certain map for a certain scenario. There's objectives placed on the tiles, and then your characters are placed in and can move from tile to tile, search rooms for items. But at the end of every round, there's different spawn points on the outskirts of the map, and waves of zombies are spawned and immediately go towards whoever made the most noise or whoever's nearby. And then combat is, dice based with different items being a lot stronger. Like you start out with like a baseball bat, and then you can get like a gold plated AK-47, and it's goofy. The art is really colorful and vibrant, and the zombies all have different there's like the runners and then the fatties and then the abominations, and they all have different skills. It's really a lot of fun. It's very simple too, though. Like there's not a whole lot to it. Each character has one skill, and then an item in each hand, and then go, just survive and get to the objectives. So.
That is the problem. The problem with Gloomhaven is that it is very, very heavy. This is a board gamer's board game. This is not like. Right. This is not, you're not going to sit down with your young kids and play Gloomhaven, or probably your parents, unless they're really into board games. There's a lot of systems to learn. I think
that's what I like about Zombicide is that it's strategic enough that you'll talk about each turn, but anybody can go at any in any order, and it's simple enough that I'm pretty sure I'm going to get my wife and a friend and his wife to all get together and play it, which is they're not the most strategic-minded board gamers, right? But it is not necessarily for a younger audience, as there was lots of gore and adult references. So
nice.
Zombicide, really, really cool.
Matt, did you have anything you'd like to endorse?
Sure as hell do. Same thing I have to endorse every time. DuckTales 2017 is a perfect show. One of the best cartoons of this entire generation. And everyone should watch it. All 3 seasons are now on Disney Plus, and it's right up there with Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Wow, yeah, that's a bold statement.
Man, let me tell you, when I first heard that they were rebooting DuckTales, I was like, wow, that voice cast is amazing, but I thought they'd be one-off silly episodes. No, there are season-long arcs. There is a series-long plot where by the end, every single episode that you thought was a standalone gets tied in. It is incredible. Holy crap. Watch that shit. DuckTales 2017.
Firm endorsement from Matt.
I thought you were comparing it to James Cameron's Avatar, and I was like, oh, that's a weird comparison.
No, The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Did anybody get sued for that?
Probably. Well, our big thanks to Mr. Matt Finneman. Thank you so much for pinch hitting for Justin and hopping on, even though it's late and I gave you no notice. Thank you so much.
The effect that you had on this podcast episode was massive.
Oh!
That's my boy.
I see what you did there.
That was worth it right there. Caitlin's mad at you, James, but, it's fine.
Why is Caitlin mad at me? What? Because I took you away from... Okay. Please send Caitlin my apologies, and send your daughter my apologies when she's old enough to comprehend them. Remember why she has daddy abandonment issues, and you can explain it's my fault. Right, yeah, exactly. All right, get back to your family, Matt, and you listeners, get back to listening to another wonderful episode of the Good Games Podcast. We've got a lot of them out there now. All right, for the Good Games Podcast, I'm James.
I'm Leo.
And that's Matt. Hey. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
See ya. All right, tell me more about this dog, dude.
Oh yeah, we are getting a golden retriever.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's just born today. Actually, I think Jess has a picture of him.
How did
fresh out of the doggy
set
womb.
up some arrangement where you knew it was being born and everything?
Yeah, we already picked out the breeder and we knew when the litter was due.
Gosh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow, straight out of the litter, 8 weeks old.
Yep. Well, it will be 8 weeks old when we eventually get it.
Yeah. That's gonna be a lot of work.
I know. I am preparing
I've done 2 8-week-old puppies, and it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, like, you get to establish.
All right. What are your puppy tips? I need puppy tips.
Oh, do you have a clicker?
Nope.
For training, there's all sorts of YouTube videos on it. Positive reinforcement is best. Golden retrievers are super smart, so it's gonna be really easy. Like Luna, lab mix, so easy to train. You just do the clicker. Just basically is like the whole, like the Office episode where he rings the bell and feeds what was it, a mint or something, right? Yeah. So you just do the click and then you give a treat, and then they start realizing that the click means like, hey, you did something right. So it makes it really easy to train. But there's a bunch of YouTube videos on it, and then like, if you had like a stupid dog like Neville, it'll never work. So, but with the retriever, you can't go wrong.